up, Tim, Colton, Mike? What's going on, everybody? I'm going live a little bit later than we thought, but I had to do a software update, so that took about an hour and a half. It's not going to be a very long show, but we can get some free plays out there, talk about what we got going on, make an announcement, and get you guys on your way to a big weekend. What's up, Eric, Joseph, Tyrus, Christian? What is up, everybody? Been working this morning on today's card. I actually like today's card, believe it or not. I've got some interest in a little bit of NBA. I've got interest in college basketball, and I've also got interest in NHL tonight. What's up, John? What's up, Keith? All right. We'll probably... Appreciate it, Tyrus. Yeah, Seton Hall. That's what I said yesterday. I don't know if anybody caught it in the free play video, but I was like, Seton Hall is probably going to upset Maryland, and I love Maryland. I just didn't think that the way they move the ball versus the way that versus the way that Seton Hall runs their defense around the perimeter, I thought that it was going to cause them some trouble, and it did. After seeing UNC play this weekend, is there another university not afraid to schedule tough away games like Roy Williams does? Like when he did Marcus Page Farewell Tour in Camden, Northern Iowa. Here's the thing. I think one of the things that impressed me about Roy as far as scheduling away games was he's done the games on the naval ship. He's done the ones in Northern Iowa. He's done the ones out of the country, so on and so forth. He does the Bahamas every year. I think one of the ones that impressed me the most was when Wofford's coach was making his farewell year, and they had gotten that brand new arena, as you could say. And to be honest with you, it is actually the most high tech in all of college basketball, even though it doesn't seat a lot of people. Very small. I mean, even smaller than like Cameron Indoor, but for what it costs, for what it provides, and it to be a small conference is crazy. And I know that they wanted to have one big marquee game there to send that coach out the right way. And they didn't even have to ask Roy. Roy approached them and said, how about, we come down here. If you guys are willing to sell the tickets the way you want to, promote it the right way so that you're not bombarded by something, because everybody and their brother is going to want to attend the game and you just can't house that many people. If you guys can come up with the right process as to how to put on the game, we would be honored to come and play. And again, they didn't even have to ask. They were looking at schools like Auburn, Alabama, LSU, big schools but small basketball programs. They weren't even going to reach out to a Duke, North Carolina, Syracuse. They weren't even going to reach out to people like that. And Roy reached out to them. I think that just shows that Roy knows the benefit of having a tough road schedule, going out there and doing things that that other teams don't want to do. And that's why you consistently see North Carolina every year being in Final Four discussion, because he makes sure that whether the team's playing well or not, one thing that's for certain is they're well prepared for whatever comes around. Yep, John, I'll give you a call as soon as I get the plays out today. I know that text was a little confusing, but I got something you might like. I know you and I had talked about something like that in the past. So there's going to be a opportunity coming up for something. So I'll get into more detail, and then you can tell me what you can commit to, and we'll see what we can work out. Give me a second, guys. I'll see if I can get this buffering to go away by closing out my spreadsheets and stuff. I don't know that it'll fix it, but we can at least try it. Anything out there that surprised people yesterday? Besides the fact that Nashville couldn't keep Ottawa from scoring, and Ottawa was making goals that were like, I don't want to say they were trick shots because they weren't, but they were coming up shooting from 35 foot, and it was like those shots that you have to take just to see if you can catch the goalie off guard, but you know that you have less than a 10% chance of making it. And out of their 5 goals yesterday, 3 of them were those type of shots. And it's like Nashville just kept falling for it. That surprised me. I mean, I got to hand it to Nashville. They played like garbage the first 2 periods, came back, tied it up, forced OT. But once it went into OT, I was scared for them because I knew they were gassed. Columbus took care of business, so we split out in NHL yesterday. Took my shot with the Lakers. I really feel like the Lakers actually played the better game, but defensively, I think that they thought they were going to be able to keep pace with the Bucks, and the Lakers just don't have that. You know, LeBron is great as he is. Davis is great as they are. These guys are still getting up there in age a little bit to where they're not going to be able to run with these 3-4 year guys, these young gunners. Not for 4 quarters. They can keep up with them for a half. So I think that they kind of let the defense fall by the wayside in the first half, and because they had to play catch up the rest of the game, they didn't have enough gas in the tank to do it. But I really do think the Lakers did play a good game. What is your lean for Buffalo Charlotte? I haven't done the official breakdown for the game yet. That's something that I was going to do while on this show, because I don't think that I'm going to have a premium play in it. At initial glance, I like Charlotte plus the points. But again, that's a glorified lean at best. I'm waiting on a more detailed weather report because they were talking about spots of heavy rain and wind gust up to 40 mile an hour. The rain being where they're playing isn't really going to affect my decision that much because you're going to be playing in such humid conditions anyway that the moisture is always there. But if you really are going to have true 40 mile an hour wind gusts that are going to be coming along pretty consistently, that's where I see why this total is dropped as much as it is. So I sent out a few emails. I want an actual detailed weather report from someone that's there. And if it's not as bad as they're making it out to be, I think we may have a good play on the over. Both these teams can put up plays or put up points in bunches. Neither defense can do very much. I'm just worried about whether or not they're going to be able to throw the ball. Running the ball, they're not going to have a problem, I don't believe. But at the same time, if they're not going to be able to throw the ball like they're used to and get those big plays that don't take a lot of time, then yeah, this game may very well go under. But neither team favors this total at all. Each team most certainly is an over-style team based on this total. Matter of fact, it may slow this feed down, but let me check my email and see what's come up. because we've only got about 45 minutes. I was actually going to try to give something out as a free play on there. Okay, I do got something. Hold on one second. Let's see what this says. Oh, Chase, thanks for reaching out. As you know, the Bahamas always feature very windy weather in general. This time of year is no exception. The forecast has caused the over/under that you're speaking of to plummet from high 50s to low 50s. Here's what I'm seeing from a ground eye point of view. The weather has been eye-catching all week. Severe thunderstorms have popped up at random, even when not expected. The rain is to be expected. The severity of what a storm can be is what we're having trouble actually trying to narrow down and figure out what's coming our way and for how long. So typically, when you don't cover a weather until 48-hour mark, because of forecasts can fluctuate in a region like the Bahamas when you are surrounded by the Atlantic Ocean, wild conditions can pop up, especially when you're trying to figure out your odds, and weather is a huge factor. Here's truthfully what I see. I see the weather being severe, if you can actually call it that. For this type of region at this time of the year, the weather's nothing more than the norm. But when you're trying to bring a football game into it, severe is definitely the word to use. Average winds are expected to be 27 to 30 miles an hour. That's with gusts reaching 35 to 40 miles an hour once every 10 to 15 minutes as they swirl right along the shoreline. Thomas Robins Stadium in Nassau is facing the northeast. Gusts could reach 35 miles an hour inside that stadium due to vortex with ease, with normal winds being right around 27 miles per hour. Oh. I've been following your system for a while, and based on what you take into account for an over/under in a neutral site with weather being a factor, I would say the factor of an underplay at 51.5 points based on my weather report will be 56.7% to come in on the under, with breezes of at least a consistent 13 mile an hour throughout the duration of the game, with wind spikes due to gust spikes of average of 20 to 30 miles per hour. That can jump that percentage to 62.2%. You're the expert, not me. I just do the weather. I do see that this right here, if we could get just one full quarter of good weather, minimal winds, and no rain, I think you and I both know that you favor the over here, and I would certainly lean that way. All it's going to take is 20 to 25 minutes of average weather with no severe winds, and these teams will do what they need to do. Good luck on your wagers. Let me know what you decide so that I can do the same. Reach out anytime. Thanks, Brad. All right. You guys hear it. Don't worry, Christian. Nashville will be in the playoffs. I'm not gonna say they're gonna win the cup, but I think they're gonna go a little bit farther in the postseason than most people think. They're struggling at the right time. Danny, not officially, but he's going to. From what I can see, the Twins are a big player for him right now. Cincinnati's a big player for him right now. There's now 3 teams that have agreed to 4 years, and I think right now we're just kind of seeing where the money lies. I think $100 million is like the magic number. So I think that they're trying to see who's willing to make the best financial offer, as well as any type of arbitration or trade clauses or anything like that. This is Josh Donaldson's last run. I truly believe that now that he knows he can get 4 years, he gets $100 million plus. He'll want a no trade clause. He'll spend the 4 years there, let the chips fall where they may, and then he will retire after that. But it's looking like a very, very slim chance that he will be in Atlanta come first of the year. All right, I'll do it, John. It wasn't terrible. All right, so if you guys heard me reading that email from my boy Brad, who's down there at the game, um, that was the email that he sent me based on weather. So, based on the fact the weather they're seeing, the spread is justified. Um, but what he's saying is that so many things are unpredictable right now because, like, they've been tracking storms for the last week that come in through the Bahamas. And any of you guys have been to the Bahamas or any tropical type place know that rain and thunderstorms are going to pop up at will and often. What they're trying to figure out is being that it's this time of year with the temperature drop, the water's getting a little bit cooler. These storms are getting more severe and they're not being able to predict the severity of the storm or the length of it. So when a storm comes in, they know it's coming. They say, okay, a storm's going to come in at 3 o'clock this afternoon. We're expecting 40-mile gust of winds. It's going to last 30 minutes. They're getting 60-mile, an hour gust per winds, and it's lasting for 3 hours. That's the problem that they're having. So numerically, I think the safest bet, if you're just going to bet the number, would be to take, buy that up to an even 52 and go under, take Charlotte plus the points. But if you're really going to go off of what you know about the teams, and I've followed Charlotte especially very closely for the last 2 full seasons, last year being a big fade team we made a lot of money with, this year being a team that we favored them a lot more with the changes that they made. If I was forced to take the side, I'm going to take the 7 points, see if I can find a 7.5 somewhere. If I was forced to take the total, I'm going to get it down to an even 51, and I'm going to take my chances with the over just because I know the teams. I can't go off of a maybe weather report. I would rather lose knowing that the teams couldn't do it versus trying to bet a weather report. Chuck, if you're not going to lay double digits in college basketball in this day and age, you ain't going to make a lot of money because there's going to be more double digit situations than not. I mean, just look at this week, for instance. I mean, there's been more double digit games, 15 or above, than there have been, less than 15. So, I mean, we have to be very careful with it. You guys know that I'm very meticulous as to what I put out, especially when we talk about getting into high spreads. But you're going to have to lay it. You just got to lay it at the right times to make sure that you capitalize and you're cashing more tickets than not. And we are. I mean, college basketball this year has been nothing short of phenomenal. I mean, we've gone out there and had some rough days this week, but I mean, we haven't even hit a double-digit amount of rough days yet. And I mean, they will come. But I mean, when you go out there and have 3, 4, 5 great days in a row, and then you have, a mediocre day, then a bad day, and then you start another streak, it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, Washington State lost. I mean, they decided to pull every starter out, and then the ones that they were doing, they were running, they changed the way that they were running their perimeter attack. I mean, things like that happen. You can't cap for that. You can't cap to say, oh, at this time they're going to put in, Pine Riders and they're going to change their game plan. I mean, you can speculate on it, but if you spend your time speculating on everything, you'll never make a wager. So, I mean, I speculate about that stuff all the time, but I have to go off of facts, not speculations. Sometimes the facts aren't right and the speculation's right. But again, there's so many things that I can speculate on every game that I choose, and if I went with the speculation side of it, I would end up backing off of it, and I'd never have a play. Watching games involving Bruce Pearl gives me a headache. Yeah, exactly. I mean, here's the thing, Keith. I mean, you know as well as anyone. how many times do I give out a game that's just flat wrong? I mean, they happen. But I'm talking about a game where it's like, all right, we're going to take so-and-so -8, and they get beat by 30 outright. You probably could count them on one hand. Most of the time, if I lose a game, it's like Colorado. They were doing all that, and we lost to a hook in the last seconds. I mean, those things happen. Was I on the right side of the game? Sure. Had I taken the other side of the game and won, it would have been nothing more than luck. Just like the loss was nothing more than a hair bit of bad luck. I'll take the little bit of bad luck versus going out there and crossing my fingers for something. Just like today, there's a double-digit game that makes 0 sense to me, this spread. I've read over practice reports. I've read over anything that you can read. There's nothing more to go over. The spread makes no sense. I'm going to have to play it. But the thing is, I have the stamina. The speculations. I'm sitting there thinking about stamina because somebody just played the other day. But I have speculations about this line, about this game. And if I go with the speculation, I'm going to lay off. But I'm not going to lay off. I'll take the risk. I'm waiting to see if the line drops in my favor a little bit more. But thing is, if I lose this game, I will lose it because one of the teams is not going to come to play. Nothing against you, but everyone knows there's some point shaving going on. Maybe. Here's the thing, guys, and I've talked about this before. In this world that we live in, professional sports, collegiate sports, it doesn't matter. Are things going on behind closed doors? Yeah, they are. Do we know what they are? No. Sometimes things look obvious. Sometimes there's things going on that are right in front of our face that we don't even realize. Are things going on? Absolutely. Are they going on within every team and every organization and every player? No. A lot of times it's teams that need the money. It's players that need the money that, maybe don't have something to look forward to after this is all over. I think it goes on a lot more in collegiate sports than it does professional sports, because the problem is if a player gets caught doing it in professional sports, then yeah, he's got a black eye. Yeah, it looks weird on the franchise for a little while, but eventually the franchise gets left out of it. And it's just the player and his representatives. But if you get caught doing it in NCAA, the team, the coaches, the referees, the athletic department, the entire university, and the NCAA get a black eye for it. How did we not catch it? Did we know about it? So I would say it goes on a lot more there. I think a lot more gets swept under the rug there to save the face and the reputation of a university, of an athletic department, of the NCAA, because everybody already thinks they're crooked, which I am one of those people. And you got to think, players know how much money is being generated off of their talents, and they're not getting any of it. So if they can go in and think, hey, I can do one thing, have one off night, go, pad my pocket with 10 grand and nobody will ever know. Don't act like you wouldn't be tempted to do it too. Not saying that you or I would, but don't act like you for a second wouldn't think about it. Especially knowing that a lot of these players, they came from nothing. They walked into the university poor. They're going to walk out poor, and they're just hoping to make a name for themselves so that they can leave with a big enough name to not be poor when it's all over. And if they have to generate millions of dollars for a university to see none of it, so be it. That's what people don't realize. Like, oh, the universities need to pay these star athletes. Why? They're giving you a platform, a free education, and a way to become essentially famous. And then the second you walk out of there, you get your name called and you're a millionaire in the blink of an eye. I'd say that the university did a lot for you by promoting you and allowing you to be a millionaire by the time you're able to buy a beer. But you know what? In return for them doing that for you, you're going to generate them millions of dollars too. And on top of that, they're going to toss you a free education. And for the players that aren't going to be millionaires when they leave, they're the scrubs. Well, guess what? The university ain't making any money off you. You're getting a free education, and you're really not that good. So I'd say it's an even trade. You get a free education, you get free room and board, you get free meals, and you get the experience that millions wish they could have. And when it's all said and done, they didn't make any money off of you. You didn't make any money off them. But you got a free education, which is a lot of money. What's up, Jerry? Jerry Valdez. Now, guys, I talk about my day one clients. That's a day one right there. I think that Jerry was like the second person that ever purchased anything from me. Christian, here is the thing about Taylor Hall. If you look at the way that the Devils have done some things, keep in mind the new ownership that's in place for the Devils. Can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but it was the gentleman that owned like the biggest e-commerce actual business out there, second to Amazon. And then he sold his business to eBay, became a billionaire, then ended up buying the 76ers and the Devils. Basically, the Devils was thrown in part of the deal. Lifelong Sixers fan, lives in the just across in Jersey and Philadelphia area. So he does that. He's building up a championship caliber team in Philadelphia, basketball wise. And in hockey, I think that he's trying to find cheap talent. So if you think about it, he's going out there and trying to find the guys out of the draft, the guys coming off of injury, the bigger teams, the teams that are contenders are not wanting to risk money on. Well, he'll go out there and risk it and get it for cheap. And if it doesn't work, oh well, he's not going to lose money. But if it works, now he's got a contending team and he's got essentially no payroll. So then when it comes down to it, they go from nobody to somebody. He's got a stack of cash sitting there to go throw out some money to say, okay, we've turned this into a playoff team. Let me go buy 2 superstars. I've got the extra money. I'm not going to be paying any type of penalty tax. And we can go out there and win a Stanley Cup and do it with the smallest payroll in hockey. Be crazy, right? I think that's what he's doing. Taylor Hall was I think the biggest chunk of his payroll, and the contract, from what I hear, was not favoring the Devils whatsoever. They weren't necessarily trying to get out of the financials. I think they were trying to get out of the fine print that previous ownership had put in place for Hall. So they get out of that. They free themselves up a little bit. And I think what it does is when everybody thinks about like Jonathan Tavares, Taylor Hall, people like that leaving, and you go, oh shit, what are they going to do now? It's the only good player they had. It allows other people to step up. It forces them to take the reins. Now they get a chance to have, their moment, their 15 minutes of fame, because nobody noticed them because they were overshadowed by another guy. And it usually puts in a motivation factor that the fans don't see. The players do. Now they've strung up 2 wins. Now they've got a game tonight at home against Washington. But keep in mind, Washington's got a little bit of rest. They were blanked by Columbus in their last game 3-0. I'm telling you right now, it's going to take the Capitals losing the game because Jersey doesn't have what it takes to beat the Capitals. But the Capitals could be looking at just going ahead, signing this one off. We'll do what we can because we know that we're not going to have to worry about Columbus or New Jersey come May. But if the Capitals come out there, they play their game from the start, then Jersey will be behind the 8 ball as soon as the puck drops, and it's going to be very difficult for them to win. So if I'm going to play this game, I'm going to play Washington. I'm going to play it in regulation, get good value out of it, and take my chances. But I think this is one of those games that, truth be told, is a coin toss. You've got all the motivation in the world on one side. You have to wonder if the care's there on the other side. And Who knows? We'll see. You also got to look at what both teams have on deck, how much rest they're going to get, who's going to be on the road, who's not, and what they're going to be doing for Christmas. See, that's what I've been trying to find out. These pro players that aren't going to be playing on Christmas, I want to know where they're going for Christmas. Are they going back to Russia, to Canada? What are they going to be doing? Are they going to be spending their Christmas holiday relaxing? Are they going to spend it playing? Are they going to spend it traveling to where they come back a little bit jet lagged? That's why every year you guys see me come in right around that the time for the Winter Classic, and right there in that week. Last year, we had 11 plays from like December the 27th all the way through the Classic last year at Notre Dame Stadium, and I think we went 9-1-1. I'm telling you, I spent days digging into what these players were going to be doing during their Christmas break, and it worked out for us. The day NCAA allows players to get paid, the landscape of college sports will change in such a negative way. Yeah, I don't think players should get paid. Not at all. Not at all. I mean, you already look about hockey, you don't have to go to college. Baseball, you don't have to go to college. Football, you do, which I think you should, because no high school player is going to be able to walk into the NFL and do anything. He'll get himself killed. And in basketball, you got one and dones. The NCAA is giving you an opportunity to take your name and make it worth millions of dollars before you actually do anything relevant to who's paying you. That would be like me running my business selling sports picks, and for somebody for absolutely free to put me in front of 30 million potential buyers and let me brag about my record. Well, guess what? I'd be a millionaire like that, right? Well, do you think that by doing work, they should have paid me? No. They're allowing me to become the biggest name out there, but in return, I need to make them some money. I think it's a fair trade, more than fair. Because you have to look at how much money the university generates from having a good team. Well, you tell me how much money they generate off of that one person. There's no way to do the math. Because the thing is, if the university sells a Burrow jersey, well, they don't calculate, okay, it's Burrow that's making it. No, they're getting paid off of the licensing deals to use the logo of the university through the NCAA, and that's what they're getting. They don't know how much money is being generated off of one person. I mean, obviously, if you look at Joe Burrow, is he the most popular player? Yes. Are there more jerseys of him being sold than anybody else? Of course. But they don't do those numbers. They just look at, we have a team that's potentially going to be playing for a national championship. Fans and, closet fans and bandwagoners are popping up everywhere. And if and when we win a national championship, we are going to make hundreds of millions of dollars off of, our name because of that. And there's nothing to state that it was all Joe Burrow or all Ed Ogeron or all, the water boy. Yes, if I was forced to play the game, I'd take Charlotte plus the points, and I would take a small risk with the over. It's not a premium play. It's not on my card. I haven't released it. But yes, if I was forced to play the game, I'd take Charlotte. I'd take the points. I'd take the over. Play it with some fun money. Go have some fun. Game starts soon, so get it in. I don't think Charlotte's getting enough credit for what they did this year. Tyler Glass now. My man Lou loves some Indiana Pacers. If the Pacers are playing, you can bet he has got something on that game. Yeah, I think Clemson's becoming. I'm not gonna say anything. Just wait and see what happens this year. I don't think it's as good of a signing day as most people think. I think that whole process that they preach and the way they run their program, I think they're clouded by championships now, and I think it's going to end up biting them in the ass. I think it's going to. I'm telling you right now, for what he gets paid and how easy his job really is, I mean, Brent Venables would be stupid to leave. But eventually, somebody's just going to hand him a blank check and say, come be a head coach, because essentially he is the head coach now. He should get more credit and he should get more money. He'll get it one day. And then when they do, you're going to watch Dabo's little dynasty start to crumble because he can't do it. Well, that's a loaded question, Scott. I mean, I've been doing it since I was about 15, but professionally, since late 2009. Actually doing it publicly where people can purchase my stuff. I've been doing it since beginning of 2018, other than a stint of 1 year that I did in 2015 with another company that I stepped away from after about 6 months. I do not like the Buffalo Bills plus 6.5. Look at any other time that the Patriots have been in the media for bad stuff, whether it be cheating allegations, whether it be, anything. When any bad media is circulating them, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick play and coach the best that they possibly could. I mean, it's almost amazing what they do. So right now, there's this whole cheating allegation of filming the sidelines in Cincinnati, so on and so forth. So right now, it wouldn't surprise me if they hunker down and go out there and win by 40. Christian, I don't hate Kent State, to be honest with you. I really don't. I haven't looked at that game yet. I wanted to get through with this live show and go over some free plays, but that's one that caught my eye. Not saying that I'll actually have a play on it, but at first glance, I was really intrigued by Kent State getting 8 to start. I think defensively Utah can stop them, but Kent State is quick. And if they call the right plays, I think that they could run the outsides really hard and give Utah State a fit. And look, I mean, Kent State, I know that Utah State really isn't a big program, but the name, it pulls a lot more weight than someone like a Kent State or a Toledo or Miami of Ohio, a mid-major. I think that they're happy to be getting a game like this. And I think that to be honest with you, hats off to the committee. I think that this is one of the better matchups they put together. Don't think Kent State will score. I tell you what, you wanna bet that personally? Nothing on Boston that I'm going to put out in here because it could very well be, or not Boston, Dallas. The Dallas Philly game could end up being a premium play, so I'm going to hold back on that one. How much, Joseph? You're telling me that you want to bet that Kent State doesn't score tonight. I think that they have a good chance. I think they have a good coaching staff for a rebuild, yes, but the problem is, are they going to let them hang around for the rebuild, or are they going to start the rebuild, exiling the coaching staff, and then the new coaching staff's going to come in and go, well, hell, I'm not working with these players. This doesn't fit in my system. They got to do it. If they're not going to let them rebuild it, fire them now. If they are, they got to let them go for at least 5 years. No, their total, which I can't get. Well, that's not what you said. You said Kent State won't score. And I said, do you want to bet on that? And you said yes. I'll put 50 grand up right now that says Kent State scores. Lou, I can't give out a play on every game, man. I gotta leave something for the clients. Don't worry, we're going to get to some free plays. We're actually going to get to one here in just a second, but it's not going to be in the NBA. I'm going to start with a play in college. I need to pull up a current line. All right, so Joseph, now I'm confused. What is it that you're wanting to wager on? Colton, Outfielders Anonymous. So you can download 2 now. By the time your flight leaves next week, you'll have a third one you can download, which will be the winter meetings one. I don't do team totals. I bet on games. I mean, I can go look at their team total. I would assume it's probably around 21 to 28 points based on looking at the total overall being in the high 60s. Give me a second. 5 dimes is taking forever, but I'll look. I mean, Utah State's got an all right defense, but it ain't that good. And the total's still 68. I mean, we're going to see both teams get into the 20s here. Colton, run this chat for a second. I got to refill this cup. And then we'll do a, well, I tell you what, matter of fact, Keith, you still in here? MAC conference is a pretty high scoring conference. Colton, run the chat for a second. This Chase. Good, how are you? Yes, I never physically signed one. No. Well, I may have verbally done it as far as saying like okay, but I never put my name on the line is what I'm saying. there was ICER. Right. And the thing is, now let me ask you this. This mean thing thing. So when everything came to a head and I resigned, and I was like, okay, listen, what I'm going to do is tell everyone that had signed up with me that still had. Okay, sorry guys. I'll give y'all an extra free play for that one. One of my attorneys called me, had to give him authorization to handle something. So we will get back at it. So, let's do a free play in college basketball, but we'll go off of an offshore line. Who's got an offshore book pulled up right now, like a 5 Dimes or something like that? Christian, no, I do not, and that is because there's a lot of books that won't even take action on that, and I've thought about it. What I would hate to do is have those, and it be listed as premium or whatever, and then clients not be able to play it. When I release something, I make sure that offshore in Vegas, it's playable. Now, if you're using a local book or something and they don't take it, that's not something that I can control or will even concern myself with. But as long as it's taken offshore, as long as it's taken, at a casino window, that's when, I'm okay with releasing something. Oh, Walter's in here. All right, I know Walter's got 5 Dimes pulled up. Walter, give me your 5 Dimes current line on Marquette and North Dakota State. Christian, yes, I usually do. I've actually been to it one time. What was it, back in 2016, 2017? I can't remember when I went. When was it in Toronto? Yeah, it'll happen sometimes. No big deal. Sometimes you just get screwed. I'm sorry. I apologize for the long phone call. I did not expect my attorney to call me then. He was making sure that I got that. And then he was talking about something that we were doing on a case that we're working on, and he just needed approval on something he was getting ready to do, expense-wise. And I told him to spare no expense. Just do it. Okay. So Marquette, 12.5. Here's what I think about this game. Is Marquette the better team? Oh, without question. Marquette has actually been, I think, it's not a surprise that Marquette's playing well. It's not a surprise that Marquette is a top 50 team. What it is a surprise is that with the new pieces in place that Marquette has, that they have gelled together as early as they have. My early season prediction for Marquette was for them to end up a top 25 team, but it to take them until probably mid to late January to get there. They've really kickstarted what I thought they were going to be able to do for the year a lot earlier. That's why I have Marquette, my number 26 team overall in college basketball. Obviously, North Dakota State doesn't rank anywhere near that. But here's the problem that we have, and this is why I think that the line is somewhat lower than Quinnipiac is not my play, so don't take that. I'm not saying you can't take it, but it's not my play. My thing with Marquette is obviously finals are over. A lot of students have left, so I do not see a big crowd here, which gives them. I truthfully I think that home court advantage, which you would usually give 3 points for a true top level team, I think you can take that out of the mix. When I broke this game down, which this is the first college basketball game I did of the day, did it very early this morning, power ranked the games, and I had the line at 17.5. So, in saying that, if you take 3 points away from it for home court, you're at 14.5. You're still a couple of points shy of what this line is being, at 12.5. I think they're going to allow a couple of players to not necessarily rest, but not put them in and let them play 35 minutes. So that is one factor. The fact that I think this is going to be an empty place is another factor. So in saying that, do I think that the line is accurate? Not really, but it's close. I think that minus 14 is an accurate line if you take home court advantage out of it, being that I think the place is going to be essentially empty. And I think the fact that you take out, if there's going to be minute limitations on their top guys, you shave a couple of points for that. And I think that you end up at, 14, 13.5 somewhere. So I still think that the line is a little bit soft, but I also think that the books, as well as the average novice bettor, has not caught up to the talent that Marquette really has. So in saying that, I think that we are getting a soft line. I do think that it has the potential to jump a half point to a full point by the time the game tips. What it's going to come down to is whether or not they take their top guys and put them on minute limitations is not my concern. Because even if they do so, Marquette could cover the spread easily. What it's going to be is when those people are playing, those second string type guys, your rotational type guys, are they going to go out there and put the pace, and are they still going to play the same style of Marquette basketball that we see out of the typical starting five? If they do, I see Marquette winning by 20 no matter what the time restrictions are, no matter what the minute limitations are, no matter how many fans are in the stands. I mean, the lights could be off and they could still cover the spread. Now, if they're playing typical Marquette basketball, they rotate 5 players out, let second stringers come in, and they just let them go out there and play to play without running an actual system, that's where we get into, okay, we could be looking at a North Dakota State cover. Do I think North Dakota State has a shot to win? I do not, no matter what happens. But if that happens, then 12.5 would be a little steep. So again, if I went off of speculation, I would never be wagering anything. I'd have no investments ever made. So I can't go off of speculation. I have to go off of what the coaching staff does, what the players do, what the rotational players do, and what I think Marquette wants to do with the fact that they are where they are. Guys, we're sitting on a team that's on the cuffs of tournament-type team. When they play teams like North Dakota State, winning isn't good enough. You have to have some style points. Now, if this was Louisville playing North Dakota State or Duke or Kansas or Ohio State or even North Carolina, then I think that a win would be sufficient because you're already talking about a team that's top 5, top 10, top 15. Who asked what deals I'm running? Zach, don't put your phone number in here. I can promise you, you will regret it. All right, whoever asked. about the deal. So what we've got going on right now is the Christmas special. So month passes are $200 versus $399. Top play months are $250 versus $599. 1 year all access is $2,000 versus $4,000. NASCAR is $250 for the 2020 season. MLB is $750 for the 2020 season. NHL's $400 for the remainder of the season and postseason, and then NBA and college basketball as a combo, remainder of the seasons, postseason, everything is $600. Because you will be solicited by a lot more people than you want to be. Last time somebody did that, they got over 480 phone calls within 2 days, and then they called me and got pissed off. They were like, why are you? I said, I don't know who's calling you. I've deleted it. I would not put your phone number in here. I wouldn't even put your email address in here. Because I can promise you, people will come back, because this chat gets posted afterwards, and all of the people that compete against me, all of my haters, and people that are trying to break into this industry, the scam artists, they will come back and look and solicit people, and so I don't recommend it, nor do I allow it, and I just do it for the safety of the viewers. Yesterday, Colt and I had a meeting regarding that. And it was actually with a team. So what we're doing is him and I are doing something on the back end, and it's going to be kind of intertwined with what we're doing at a game this year. So as far as what him and I are doing, I would say in the next 30 days, as far as what we're doing involved with a team and a game, it probably won't be until the start of the season in April. Zach, I don't do first halves. I don't do first quarters. I don't do team totals. The only thing that I release and do is full game spreads, full game totals. And there's nothing wrong with people betting first halves and all that stuff. I'm not saying that. But as far as a capper to give you that out, there's no skill involved with that. And if you guys are paying money for someone to tell you to take a team first half, first quarter, team total over, team total under, and essentially prop bets, run for the hills. Don't pay for that. If somebody's going to give you real prop bets, that's one thing. And they're probably going to do it separately from their normal games. But I know services that you'll pay for a week of service, and half of their games are, oh, well, here, take this team, but then I want you to take these 3 first halves. And they're just trying to do it so they can say that they won something when, in truth be told, they didn't even break this game down. They're just going back and looking at what teams do for the past, week, and then betting a first half because the likelihood of it is probably going to hit. The juice is probably going to be high, and there's just no skill involved with that. I think the Raptors can go over 230. The problem with what we're going to see with the Raptors tonight, the injury bugs hit them a little bit more this year. It's really going to depend on Washington tonight with this one. Washington is not a bad offense. Their defense is extremely suspect. So it's really going to depend on 2 things. Main thing is going to be Toronto's defense. If Toronto breaks out to an early lead offensively and they don't have to run that pressure that they're known for, then yes, I see it flying over, because that's going to allow Washington to get some open shots, push the pace, score, but still be playing catch-up the whole game. Now, if we're seeing a really tight game where they're going tit for tat the whole game, then I see Toronto really pushing the things on the defensive end, and that would be where I would say we're probably going to fall a little short of this number. We've got plenty of time before that game starts, so I'm going to wait till I read a shoot-around report before I make any decisions on that game. The game is circled, so it is one that I definitely have real interest in. I just have to wait till all the information is in my hands before I pull the trigger, which is what I do on anything. The only thing that I've actually bet today is Marquette. It's the only thing that I've actually wagered money on, other than a little bit of fun money I put on the over in the Charlotte-Buffalo game. Okay, so here's an announcement that we have. We do have, so we had a game of the month in NCAA or football a couple of weeks ago. Clemson, Virginia over, easy winner at the very start of the fourth quarter. We already cashed the ticket. I didn't think that I was going to have another big play in college football this year, but I am going to have a game of the week. It's a game of the month, truthfully, but I just had a game of the month. So what I did was I rated it smaller. That way I could sell it for half the price. There is an NCAA game of the week tomorrow in tomorrow's football action. And you can go ahead and buy it on the site, $50. You win or get 3 days for free. As soon as I sign off here, the write-up, the game, and everything will be posted. And I give 3 days for free. If God forbid it were to lose, I get hate mail from someone, then you do not get the 3 days. You will just take the loss and move on. Games, I mean, losing can happen. But on games like this, I rarely lose, but they do happen. I mean, hell, I lost to the Raiders game on Sunday. So it's not like it's impossible. But to have to read a bunch of hate mail from people that are getting ready to get 3 days of all plays for free to not only make their money back, but still turn profit off of a measly $50 purchase, yeah. I had a couple of those people do that Sunday, and then on Monday they wanted to know why they didn't get their extension. I said, well, you decided to send me a bunch of BS, so I told you wouldn't be getting it. And, of course, they're still every day apologizing, but I'm not going back on it. Danny, it's going to be a solid winner unless Marquette does something to change that. Like I said, if they play, even second-string guys play their system, I still see this being an 18 to 20-point win with an easy cover. There's no home court advantage tonight because I think it's going to be an empty place. Nobody was going to hang around campus and not go home for Christmas to hang around and watch North Dakota State. I mean, let's be real. There's another game that I really like tonight that I want to wager on, but I haven't gotten. There's one player that's been dealing with cramps pretty bad the past couple of days, and his status was a little bit questionable as of yesterday. So I wanted to get a confirmation about that player before I made a decision. Let's see if I've gotten anything. If I did, I'll go ahead and give you this. I'll go ahead and give you all this game, and this will be a premium play, just like Marquette. If everything falls in line the way that I want it to. But I won't know that until I hear the status of this player. He's been battling cramps for like the last week, but the thing is, I think it's a hamstring issue. I mean, usually if you're just having cramps, just go drink some water. I think we're seeing a very soft line. A team that's getting a little bit too much credit. A team that's going to have absolutely zero home court. And a team that they're battling that's looking for a tournament berth this year. Will they get it? I don't know. I think that they may still be a year out on there, but I think they've got one of the best coaches in all of the smaller conference teams that are out there. I think he's a top 50 coach for sure. Get something here. Ho, ho, ho. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what I'll do, guys. Let's do this. I've got a game that is going to be a premium play tonight. Like I said, unless for some reason they're going to sit this particular player. Which I don't think they will. Because he did travel with the team. So if he was going to sit, I don't think he'd even be there. I'm just wanting to make sure that he is penciled into the lineup and that he did do his morning practice this morning. And once I find out that information, if it happens to be the case, it'll be locked in for an official premium play. If you guys get me to 50 likes, I will go ahead and give you guys that play and then tell you what to look out for just in case it were to change. We're at 13 likes, so we got a little ways to go. But give me the 50 likes, I'll go ahead and give you that one too. That'll be 2 premium plays that you get. Just one. Marquette 12.5. I gave some leans out on the Charlotte Buffalo game, but it's already started, so. Penn State is laying a freaking monster amount of points tonight. But you know what? They'll probably cover it. I'm probably going to have a couple $100 on Penn State minus 35 just for shits and giggles. Yo, what's up, KG? Danny, what you think about Clemson-Jacksonville tonight? You know they're giving away tickets, buy one, get one free tonight? And I think they're going to do the same thing for the Miami game, which I was wondering. I was like, why are you going to give away buy one, get ones to a conference opponent, but it's on New Year's Eve? So I was like, all right, that makes sense. I was like, nobody's going to go to a Clemson basketball game on New Year's Eve. But if you can do buy one, get one free, you got smaller kids, so you're not really going to be going out anyway. They may fill up the place a little bit more. They do not want an empty crowd during a conference game. I can't. KG, I'm going to have to refrain from saying anything on that because that one may be a premium play, and I can't give away all of my premium plays on a live show. I mean, that game doesn't start till 7:35, so I'm not going to be making a decision for at least another hour on that one. I've got my initial thoughts on it, but if everything goes the way it will, that'll also be the premium play. I'll tell you another one that I like that I think people are overlooking. Let me check something real quick here because I know I just got – because there was actually no practice yesterday, but they did a morning practice this morning, which didn't make a lot of sense to me, but well, it may work out in their favor. And I think they may have done this because I think they're going to be rotating – what's up, Elliot? I think they're going to be rotating a lot of players tonight too. So I think they wanted to get them into a rhythm this morning since they may be looking at some actual playing time tonight. Elliot, I'll be honest with you, other than the first quarter, I think the Lakers played the better game. They didn't play any defense the first quarter. They thought they were going to be able to just run with them. I mean, LeBron knows his age. He can't run with those boys for 4 quarters. And neither can Davis. I mean, hell, Davis is coming off of a freaking injury. But other than that, when they finally started to play some defense, they just had too much catch-up work to do. I think they played the better game from about midway the second quarter on. I like that a lot. pretty bad. Safe to say Yankees could go to the World Series now that we have Cole. They could. I just want to know what Yankee fans are going to do when Cole chokes next year. How's that $324 million going to taste when we find out that Cole can't pitch without a beard, or even a 5 o'clock shadow at that, and that the Boston Red Sox figure out how to win a championship in 2021 without Mookie Betts? Steinbrenner's head will just fucking explode. Let's look at something here. Damn, they did practice early this morning. 7:30 in the morning. Why? Why? They're definitely rotating second stringers in tonight. But, all right. The other premium play that I was going to give you guys is probably not going to be given out on the show because it's probably going to be a little while before I get the info. But I've got another one that I'm getting ready to make the bet on now. So give me the 50 likes and I'll give you another premium play. That's the Yankees' rules. The Yankees do not allow any stubble, beard, 5 o'clock shadow, anything. You have to be clean shaven. And it can't just be on game days. Like, you have to be clean shaven while you were a part of the Yankees organization. That's always been a Steinbrenner rule. And it always will be. You want to hear a funny story about Cashman, the GM of the Yankees? He's been GM for like 22 seasons. I think he's going into his 23rd. And if anybody is as much of a Steinbrenner as you could be without actually being a part of the family, it's him. So he has not only adopted their way of doing things, I mean, he is very, very much a part of it. He believes in it, and he is an advocate for it and make sure that all the players and people in the organization follow it. And, look at Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth was fat. But there was a story, and I can't remember the player. It'll come to me in a second. But anyway, down in Florida where their spring training facility is, Brian Cashman and the Steinbrenners have an office building. It's overlooking a golf course, and it's not far from where the old spring training batting facilities used to be. And the Yankees had signed a guy at the winter meetings that year, and this is back in the early 2000s, late 90s. God, I can't remember who it is. If I can remember who it is, then I'll be able to tell you what year it happened. But anyway, it's really irrelevant. Anyway, the player couldn't report to spring training until a week after he was supposed to, and that was due to him going through some Yankee-requested medical testing for a surgery that they had paid for in the offseason. So they wanted final clearance for him to be able to play, take full reps, play in spring training games, everything. There was going to be nothing holding him back medically. So he did that. He stayed back in New York for an extra week. Then he shows up to spring training. And Brian Cashman said, listen, before you report on your first day, let's have a meeting. Let's go over some stuff. Come to my office. Steinbrenner may or may not be here, but we'll have a meeting. And then tomorrow you'll be suited up and be out there with the guys. So they have a, yes, Evan, it's chasewins.com. And so he goes and he shows up for this meeting, and he gets there, and he's got a little bit of 5 o'clock shadow, but he's got hair down to just above his shoulders. And Cashman said, hey, I'm sure you read the report. You signed the paper. I mean, you know that you've got to be clean shaven. And he's like, before you take the field tomorrow, you need to go down, he's like, and see our team barber and have your hair cut. And he was like, well, I knew about the shaving, but I didn't think that the hair would matter. And he said, well, it does. You got to be clean shaven. And the player expressed concern about it. And he's like, well, what's your concern about it? You knew this coming into the organization. He said, well, I was raised Catholic and very religious. And he said, I like to try to portray Jesus. And he had long hair. And so Brian Cashman's office overlooked a big lake out on a golf course. And there's a window there. And he told the player, he said, come here. They walked around to the window. They looked out and he said, hey, you see that lake down there? He said, yes, sir. He said, well, when you can walk across it, he said, you can have your hair whichever way you want it. Until then, go get it cut, shave your face, and be a Yankee. Yes, every team has a team barber. Pretty much any sporting franchise out there, I think, does, but baseball for sure. And they travel with the team and everything, because a lot of these guys, get haircuts at least once a week. Come on, guys, we're halfway there. 50 likes, let's do it. And then we'll give another free play. We'll jump off here. I'll get finished up with these plays, and I got to go fucking Christmas shopping tonight. After I go pick up a big fat wad of hundreds from my bookie. He hadn't paid me in 3 weeks, which I guess that's my fault. I've been traveling. I finally told him, I said, let's go ahead and settle up before we kickstart all these bowl games and stuff. Because he was finally like, okay, I really need you to come collect this. Already giving out one premium, guys. Come on, 25 more likes. We'll give out another. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Even minor league teams. I mean, it's paid for by the parent franchise, but they have team barbers too. Now, because minor league teams don't go on as long of a road trip, I don't know if they travel with the team. But every minor league team, they can go in and say, it's an hour till you got to go out for warm-ups for the game. Line me up real quick. I actually got my hair cut last year by a team barber that was affiliated with the Red Sox. Did a hell of a job, too. He did it right before I recorded a podcast with the GM of that team, which is on Spotify, by the way, the interview. Shameless plug, Outfielders Anonymous, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Play, Google Play, Apple Podcast, your mother's ass. Yes, actually, that's the weirdest question I've ever gotten, but I like it. I drink a lot of coffee. I probably shouldn't, but coffee's actually itself is not bad for you. It's what you put into the coffee that can make it bad. But black coffee, just a hair bit of cream and sugar. Drink that. I do drink iced tea unsweet. I do not like extremely sweet anything, really. As far as a meal, I like plain baked chicken with just a hair bit of Greek seasoning and white rice. I could eat that every day. And when I played sports, I did eat it about every day. That, and I would have a steak once a week, seafood once a week, and then every once in a while, you have something, fatty or something like that. But and I like plain toast with strawberry jelly. stuff that fills you up. You don't have to eat much of it, and it doesn't make you sleepy. When you tell people around this area of the country that you want unsweet tea, they look at you like you are on fire. $27 likes. Come on, guys. 23 more likes. Let's go. Y'all are slacking on me today. I'm trying to help you guys out. Elliot, I actually like Penguins money line. I'm waiting on skate around report, but if I don't see anything detrimental to it, I'm probably going to play the Penguins tonight. Money line soft. Way soft. Which I get for the way things have gone the past week or so, but I still think it opened up too soft. There's another 1 year all access person. People taking advantage of these discounts. I better hurry up because next week they won't be there. Because I'm going to take a couple of days off from doing videos and stuff for Christmas. I mean, I'll still have, get my plays out and stuff and do all that. But I will not be doing any type of videos for a couple of days next week. And that'll be, I guess, my time off, you could say. Won't actually get to take time off because I still have to work on the games. But it'll at least buy me a few hours every day that I can take off. Finish my day earlier. Yeah, exactly, Christian. That's the only problem with it. I think people are expecting a Penguins letdown. I mean, it opened up at 125, which is too soft. It jumped to a 140 immediately. Now it's down back down to 120. There's money flooding in on Edmonton. I mean, at a very rapid rate, too. Danny, run the chat real quick. We're 20 likes away from being able to give out another big premium play. I got to piss, guys. I'm sorry. You have to deal with it. Be right back in about 2 minutes. Danny, run the chat, and I'll be right back. And hopefully when I get back, you guys will have 20 more likes on there. Once we get to 50, we'll give out another premium play before we call it quits for the day. Danny, run the chat. Tyler Glass now looks like Joey from Blossom. Oh, we're getting there. 18 more, guys. While I was up, I actually just got a phone call about another game. We only need 17 more. $16 more. Oh. Chase, when do you withdraw from your online bookies as a professional capper? How would you do it? I do it. It's not really a time-wise, Christian. It's a money-wise. Usually I do it in 10,000 increments. It's not even 3 o'clock, Danny. You guys keep in mind, against the spread, over the past 2 weeks, Sacramento Kings have been the best. Now, are they a better team than the Pacers? No. Especially defensively. But, again, the Pacers have been, they put in some damn work over the last week. The Kings have kind of fell back and regrouped. If I could get this line down to 4, I might be more inclined to like the Pacers. What's up, Brock Page? Brock, you interested in doing any marketing together? Yeah, Colton, I do. I usually do baseball every year. Am I the only one that chuckled because of that? Oh, I found it funny. Yeah, let me come on over to your chat and promote my stuff. I offer to do something with you marketing wise. Help you, help me, whatever. I didn't say anything negative. Nah, no thanks, but let me go ahead and promote my picks. Fuck out of here. Get a website. If I were able to own any team in sports besides the Cubs, which one would you go for? That's a good question. Whoops. I would probably have to say I'd love to own the Tigers, but the problem is like I can't even imagine myself doing it because of the Ilitch family. Like it'll always be there. You know what I mean? I'd probably have to say the Braves or the. I'd say as far as a big market team, I'd probably say the Braves. Small market, probably the Orioles. Maybe the Angels. Um, that's tough, man. I'd probably say that if it was big market, I'd probably say the Braves. Um, Small market probably be either be the Orioles or the Angels. I to be honest with you, I'd like to say Detroit, but I just couldn't even wrap my brain around the fact that the Ilitch family wouldn't ever own it. That was Mike Ilitch's baby. Like he didn't even like the Red Wings. He just did it because it drew in great money. It helped finance his other stuff, and they won. So it allowed him to focus on his Tigers. But if I was going to own the Tigers, Jim Leland would have to agree to come back and be the manager. I met him at the winter meetings. If I could pick an era to own a team, I would say that I would want to own the Cleveland Indians in the 90s. They do. They don't own all of their farm system. They have private owners that have a hand in each team, but they are majority owners of everything. But like the Rome Braves that are in South Atlantic League, there is a private investor that owns a portion of team revenue. They don't own the team, so it's still the Braves that scout, draft, and put the team on the field, and then he's like a shareholder with that, and then he owns the stadium, the concessions, so on and so forth. But then, even then, part of the agreement is the Braves get part of the revenue for that to have the agreement for however many years each contract holds for the Braves to stay in that area. There have been talks about it. I mean, Montreal's agreed that they could do it. That Montreal's even agreed. The local government there's even agreed to furnish a new ballpark. Um, the problem what they're doing is the Rays have one of the smallest attendances in all of baseball. They're like bottom three in attendance, and even though I think it would draw a lot of attendance Montreal side for at least a couple of years, you're going when you're not only you have the shittiest ballpark in all of baseball in Tropicana Field, if you're going to take half their home games away, you're killing your revenue on that end. You're going to have your exchange rate. Montreal is going to get a big portion of that, which is going to take away from Tampa, which is ultimately going to cost them their franchise, and it's going to cost them what little fans they do have. Everyone else is going to the South Florida people are going to fall back to the Marlins, or they're gonna go somewhere else like the Braves, or pick another team that's God knows where because they don't have a local team anymore. And once they do that, then Tampa's out of franchise market. And I'm telling you right now, they better be careful if they start splitting it with Montreal and they lose that franchise in Tampa. Florida will never get another franchise. All they'll have is the Marlins, and with someone like Derek Jeter owning it, if he ever were to sell to a hedge fund, I think Miami gets pulled. Chase, do you think the Cubs will ever get a small fastball pitcher as good as Henry Rowan Gardner ever again? Not unless they get Brigma back as the pitching coach. We're at 37, 13 likes away. Wow, 5 times got you limited to 5? Holy shit. There is not going to be a game of the month tomorrow. I Because I just had a game of the month in football, there is a game of the week that will be posted as soon as this chat ends. It is in college football for tomorrow's action. $50, winner get 3 days for free. You can purchase it now. You'll get an email when the play is posted. So all the one-year clients, be on the lookout. But there is officially going to be a big game of the week in tomorrow's college football action. I think that truth be told, don't take this the wrong way. I don't think Montreal is a good market for baseball in this day and age. I think they'd be better off getting an NBA team. Now, what I do think could happen is if Tampa decided to sell the franchise and move it to do a transitional period where for 1 to 2 seasons they play games in Montreal, but then ultimately, leave that all in the past and go to their forever home, which I think would be somewhere like Oregon. It could be somewhere in South Carolina. It could be somewhere in, believe it or not, I shudder to think, but it could be in Alabama. It's really going to depend on how much the Braves are willing to pay to make sure that it doesn't happen, to hold all that proprietary fan base in the Southeast region, because that's always been Braves country. Ten more likes, guys. We got 35 people in here right now. You can't tell me that there's not 10 people that hadn't hit that like button. 10 people hit the like button that haven't right now, and I'll give out another premium play. Nine more. Eight more. Marquette, 12.5. Christian, I own 81 of them. Do I have a lead on a successful Trump impeachment? Well, he was successfully impeached. That's done. Will he lose his job? I doubt it. Do I wish he would lose his job? Yes, I do. I think he's a fucking moron. I think he's a racist piece of shit. But will he? Probably not. There's still a thing called the Mason-Dixon line, and everything below it's all with Trump. They couldn't stand him before he ran for president because they thought he was just a rich prick. But he starts running for president and only wants to talk to farmers and coal miners and people in certain regions, and then they all of a sudden love him. I'm like, well, you guys hated him 6 months ago. Just because he's running for president doesn't make him any different than he was 6 months before. Now, I'm not saying everybody in the South thinks that, but the overwhelming majority certainly do. A Trump rally reminds me of what I imagine a Klan rally to be like. All right, guys, it's 3 p.m. We need 8 more likes, and I'm about to jump off here so I can finish the games, get them out. We got a lot to do. So come on, 37 people are in here right now. We can't get 8 likes. I got you. Danny. Oh, yeah, that's right, Jerry, because I got to book a flight. And I need to do that, like, now. What week works best for you, Jerry? You want to do early spring training or late? Because I'm going to come twice. I figure later spring training will be better, so that way they're doing full games. Seven more likes, guys. Come on. Y'all got this. There's 33 people in here right now. I know there's got to be 34, excuse me. There's got to be at least 7 people in here that have not hit the like button. My only problem with Bernie Sanders, I feel like he's going to die. Yeah, I'm thinking, what do you think? Like the last 2 weeks of spring training probably be the best? That way, nobody has left. They're still doing full games. And we can probably see some better games, too. All right, bet. I'll call you in a little bit, Jerry, and we'll pick out dates. That way I can go ahead and book a flight. All right, 6 more. 6 more. And while we're waiting on that 6 to come in, I guess let me look and see if I've gotten an email on this second game. That way I can have 2 to choose from. They'll both be premiums. I hate this software. It makes my computer die so fast. I'm going to have to take this thing to Apple and ask them, how do we fix that? All right, still nothing on that first game I was talking about, but I've already locked in another game, so I'll give you that one. All right, 5 more, guys. Don't say that just yet, Elliot. I think the over's still the play in that one. But Charlotte's a second half team anyway. Oh, Ron Darling. Looks like Francisco Lindor is going to be gone, guys. The Indians told anybody with interest they want their best and final offer by 5 p.m. this afternoon. And then they would evaluate it over the Christmas holiday, make a decision to see if they're willing to get in bed with anybody for a trade. And apparently 5 teams have already made very serious offers. Not at the moment, Matt. I'm intrigued by Kent State, but I haven't pulled the trigger on anything. Five more likes, guys. Come on, where you at? We're not talking politics. We said one thing, but you can't avoid it. Everything we do in life is political. Everything. You just don't even realize it. When you reach into your refrigerator and you see two different options for something to drink and you choose one, it's usually because of a political marketing scheme and you don't even realize it. Four more. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes to give it. Otherwise, I'm out of here. I got a lot of work to do to get these games out and get them out within the next hour and a half. But I've got a game that I'm just waiting to give you guys. If we give it out, Elliot, you should get it. Because like I said, it's 3:15 right now. I'm going to give it to 3:18. If we don't have it by then, we're just going to have to call it. Come on. 4 likes. And I will give you guys a second premium play to end the show. Two more. We're at 48. 2 more. And we've got 2 minutes to do it. Two more likes is all it takes. I think that some people think that if we don't hit it and it comes down to it, I'll just be like, I'll give it to you anyway. I'm standing my ground on this one. 50 likes or no additional free play. I've already given out my leans on a football game that's going on and gave out a free premium play in college basketball. I'm willing to give out another one. But I got to get something in return. It's not much. It's just 50 likes. We do it every day. 1 minute, guys. 2 likes. Oh, the suspense. Irie says they see 50. I'm only seeing 48, but hold on, it updates every 15 seconds, so we'll see. It dropped one. It's at 47 now. Somebody's just toying with us. There's 48. 41 seconds. All right, I'm seeing 49 now. I'm giving it 30 seconds. 50. Boom. Got it. See it. All right. Whoever hit the last like button, thank you. Everybody here thanks you. Okay. Here's a game that I like. And this is why I like this. Okay. Pittsburgh tonight. Laying 18 at home against Binghamton. Now, my power rankings, Pittsburgh is 70th overall in the nation. Binghamton's a whopping 298. Now, here's the thing with this. Now, we've been talking about teams that are playing at home. Finals are done. Most of the students are gone, so on and so forth. Okay? That holds true everywhere. But Pittsburgh does not draw a very big student crowd outside of conference games. They never have. Football is a different story. But during basketball season, unless it is a big non-conference game or unless it is a conference game, something that means a little something, they don't draw a very big crowd. They don't. But you got to think, you're in Pittsburgh. Outside of Pittsburgh, outside of the city, what do you have to do? Nothing. Not unless you want to go, mine a coal somewhere. Go into a coal mine somewhere and do whatever it is they do. But in the city of Pittsburgh, sports town. There's always something going on this time of year. You got the Penguins playing. You got the Steelers playing. The bars are always packed. It is a freaking sports town, a blue-collar sports town. But there's so many more important things than Pitt basketball non-conference. It's just the truth. Pitt's a little bit better of a team than I think most people are giving them credit for, but I still think they are bottom of the barrel ACC this year. I actually think they may finish dead last in the ACC for regular season. But here's the thing. We talk about when students are gone, that making an impact on home court. This time of the year, students don't bring out much of a presence. It's the dads taking their sons, the families going out for a cheap night. They can buy tickets for $10. That's what we're going to see tonight, guys. A lot of your blue-collar workers in Pittsburgh that are working in your factories and stuff like that, guess what? They're probably going to be off next week. So they're going to get off tonight. They're not going to have to worry about going into work tomorrow. Buy a $10 ticket, buy a $30 family pack, whatever. Go get some popcorn, some Coke, enjoy a little basketball game, and enjoy what inevitably is going to be a Pittsburgh blowout. Now, Pittsburgh also is a rotating team, but they only rotate 7 guys religiously. In saying that, I do not think that they will put minute limitations on this. I think that Pittsburgh knows that their non-conference easy slate of games are going to be the only thing holding them on to any type of relevance going into full-blown conference play when they have to play teams like your top teams like your Dukes, your UNCs, Notre Dame's, stuff like that, where they are going to struggle overall. So not only do they need to pick up wins against easy people, they need to bag big wins, get some style points, get up there as far as they can in the rankings to then know if we have a better conference turnout than we think, we're contenders. If not, at least we go out there with an above 500 record for the season. Again, this is not going to be a big crowd, but I see this being a big family night, something that will allow people to come out, enjoy the night, do something before they get ready to hit the road for the weekend and start focusing on Christmas and the holidays next week. So I do not see an absolute nobody crowd. I see this place being 3/4 of the way full. I see it being a fun night. I see Pittsburgh putting on a show. And to be honest with you, look at what you have in Pittsburgh as far as their players, where they're from. Outside of the players, the coaching staff, the majority of the students, and the fans all live in and around the city. They're all within an hour drive. So a lot of these students, even if they're gone, they're not on campus right now, they're still 30 minutes away. They're still living around their fellow students. Most of them aren't having to drive back to, the Northeast, the Southeast, something like that. Most of them live in that upper Mid-Atlantic region, and they all live in PA. Most of them. Some of them may live in Ohio because it's so close. I'm telling you right now, I think that we're going to see a better turnout than most people think. I think that we're going to see a Pittsburgh team. And keep in mind, Pittsburgh's also one of those ACC teams. They get out to a big lead. They like to sustain that big lead. That coach has always been like that. So right now they're giving up 18. If they could win this game by 30, they'll win it by 30. I power ranked it. Line should have opened up at 22.5. It opened up at 19.5. We had some quick money come in on Binghamton. And then we had money flooding in on Pittsburgh. And then we've got a little bit of reverse line movement going on. I think that the books are trying to attract more money away from Pittsburgh and what a game that they truly believe is going to be won by 20 plus. I'm backing Pittsburgh. They're not showing me anything. They're going to put limitations on time, which I love, which would be to be expected in a game like this. I think Pittsburgh takes it in a rout tonight, 20 plus. Pittsburgh premium play over Binghamton minus 18. So there you go, guys. Marquette, Pittsburgh, and I tell you what, for all of my other Pittsburgh peeps that are not going to be paying attention to the basketball game tonight, what are they going to be doing? They're going to be sitting in a bar right outside of, well, more than likely, they're probably going to be sitting outside of PNC Park right there at a bar where all of the best bars in Pittsburgh are. And they're going to be watching the Penguins tonight. That's what they're going to be doing. So I tell you what, for shits and giggles, and because we're getting a gift by being able to ever play the Penguins at minus 120, play the Penguins at minus 120, and let's go for a double cover. Two teams from the city of Pittsburgh cashing us tonight. Guys, you will see me back before Christmas for sure. I'll have free plays. We will go live on Monday for sure. Tuesday, still a question, and then we'll be taking a couple of days for Christmas and the day after, where you probably will not see me. But obviously, if you're a client of mine, you'll still be getting plays, even though I won't be online. Other than that, go jump on the Christmas specials. They are live until midnight tonight. There's a couple of them that'll go through the weekend, but other than that, most of them are going to be ending tonight, and none of them will be there come Monday. So make sure you jump on one of the Christmas specials before it ends, one of the long-term passes, one of the seasonal passes, month-long, whatever. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email, and I will get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. And Pittsburgh fan, I don't know if they cover. They had blowing teams out there supposed to. Yeah, but look at the teams that they've had trouble doing that to. All of them are worlds better than Binghamton. This isn't a game that they would have to try to blow them out. This is just a game where they kind of have to show up. If they show up and play basketball, they'll blow them out. If they don't want to play basketball, then anything's possible in this game. But, I mean, Pittsburgh could literally play 30% of their potential and still win this game by double digits. I shudder to think that that coach is going to allow them to play, 30% of their talent level. We got to think that we're going to see at least 60%. So, premium play, Pittsburgh minus 18 in college basketball. Lean, Pittsburgh Penguins minus 120 on the money line on the road. Pittsburgh being the city that takes us to the promised land tonight. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'll get back to you. But for now, let me get working on these games. Let me get them posted. That way I can take care of all you guys. And then my man Keith Davis, be on the lookout. You'll be getting an email from me because I do have a play of the week in college football tomorrow. The game will be posted soon, so you can go ahead and log in since you won the contest. See you guys.